Alright guys, so I'm not a big YouTuber per se, but nothing makes me feel more like a big YouTuber than when a freaking million of you guys request song explanations and reviews of new Fall Out Boy songs. And there have been so many. So today we're gonna go ahead and review Mania by Fall Out Boy, but I need to let you know of two things first. The first one's gonna wreck your world, and it's that I'm not a huge Fall Out Boy fan, but the good news is that it means that I will be unbiased. And the second is that I'm a professor, not a critic, so I'm gonna err more on the side of explaining rather than on saying, hey, you should feel this way or that way about these songs. I do other album reviews on this channel as well, and they're basically like reviews for people who overthink lyrics too much. That being said, let's very quickly talk about the music, and the thing that I noticed most was that about half of these songs sounded like Fall Out Boy songs, and the other half of these not so much. Young and Menace, Champion, Stay Frosty, Royal Milk Tea, The Last of the Real Ones in Church all sounded very, very Fall Out Boy-y. But Hold Me Tight or Don't, Wilson, Heaven's Gate, Sunshine Riptide, and Bishop's Knife Trick all sounded a little bit different, like they were stretching themselves in small ways, which I really liked. The other thing I noticed about the album and the way that they write lyrics as a whole is that it was very, very repetitive. I'll at some point have to make a video about how Fall Out Boy writes lyrics, but I have a feeling that what I'm gonna find is that they rely on repetition of key phrases or ideas a ton, with small variations here and there. The other thing I noticed is that there were basically two topics on this album. One of them was, we gotta stay pumped up and we're gonna win, win. And the other was, there's this girl and I've gotta have her, and she's like the only one there is in the whole world for me. And it was basically split 4 and 4, with another 2 songs getting a little bit more philosophical, as we'll talk about in a moment. So, speaking of individual songs, Young and a Menace is about the band saying, you know, we love punk music and we're glad we're here and we're gonna keep doing our own thing and be ourselves. We're young and a menace, and it serves as kind of a prologue for the entire album. Champion is probably the most classic Fall Out Boy song that there is on the album, and it's basically about how they want to be champions and they don't always know which direction to go, but they're going to make it through life struggles by gritting their teeth until they can become the champion that they dream of being. They have this really good line, I'm just young enough to still believe, but young enough not to know what to believe in. And then later in the chorus, if I can live through this, I can do anything. Yeah, which I think sums it up really well. Then, the weirdest named song of the entire album, Stay Frosty, Royal Milk Tea. I saw one internet source suggesting that these are the names of the llamas that have been showing up in the music videos, but I could not confirm that. And the song is basically them telling us that they are gonna go for it, no matter what it is. The only thing that's ever stopping me is me. I testify if I die in my sleep, then I know that my life was just a killer dream. And I particularly like this line early on, I'm about to go Tanya Harding on the whole world's knee. A reference to a figure skater who allegedly sabotaged somebody else's knee. Hold Me Tight or Don't had to be one of my favorite songs from the album for the sound. It was the most easy listening one, and it was very, very pop compared to a lot of everything else that was on this album. And of course, it's about some girl who's the only one for him, blah, 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 blah. But I did like this line, and when your stitch comes loose, I wanna sleep on every piece of fuzz and stuffing that comes out of you. I thought that was pretty creative, kinda like how, you know, a little kid loves a teddy bear. Number 5, The Last of the Real Ones is again, very, very Fall Out Boy-y. And it is again about some girl who is the only one for him. She's the last of the real ones. There were some real ones, but she's the only one now, and so he's gotta be with her. Even if it means her lying to him and saying that she still likes him anyway, even if she doesn't. He's okay with living that facade. Number 6 was Wilson, An Expensive Mistake. I loved the sound, the soaring, anthemic nature of it. It sounded so good. And it was semi-philosophical too, talking about mistakes he's made and how he wants to not let those get the best of him, but also still being kind of in mourning over the mistakes that he has made. The one line I really liked from this song was, I'll stop wearing black when they make a darker color. I can't think of a collection of words in a line that sounds more like something that Fall Out Boy would say. Number 7 was Church. I didn't think it was super special, but it's basically about how he loves this girl so much, and he uses a lot of like, church imagery to say, hey, basically, you're holy to me and you're awesome. But it gets interesting when early on in the song, he's asking her to ignore problems that she might have with the relationship and just kind of suppress issues, and then later on in the song we see that he's doing the same thing, so it gets a little bit deeper. I'm putting out an explanation for that song later on. Heaven's Gate was probably the least like them of any song. It was very soft and crooning, very much a ballad, and it's him telling some girl that the equivalent of going to heaven or sneaking into heaven is being with her for now. Number 9, Sunshine Riptide, is a little bit difficult to explain actually. It's kind of him saying, I'm going through life and there's like these difficult situations happening and I feel pressured from this outside source that could possibly be a relationship. And it gets a little bit philosophical and it's kind of cool. I like the reggae aspect of it, but I didn't like the rest of the music necessarily. A little too slow for me. And then number 10 gets philosophical again. I really liked some of these sort of semi-philosophical songs on here. They had some good stuff. The title is probably a reference to the movie Aliens, where one of the characters is doing that thing where you have like a knife and you're like sticking it between some fingers, and that's Bishop's knife trick. If that had been real right now, I would have just stabbed my own finger, so it's pretty hard, it's pretty hard. And it's about Fall Out Boy basically struggling with who they have been, who they are becoming, and kind of questioning where in the middle they should fall. So overall, Mania seems like a good album. I like how even though they do kind of the stereotypical punk thing and they sound super emotional and they over-exaggerate their need of like this one romantic interest and their desire to overcome and succeed and to beat all expectations, they mix it in with a couple of more philosophical, self-questioning, reflective songs, which are the kind that me, as somebody who overthinks lyrics too much, likes to kind of get into. The sound overall was fine. The Hold Me Tight or Don't was definitely my favorite. I'm gonna hold on to that song, or I won't. Actually I will. Yeah guys, don't forget to check out some other Fall Out Boy explanations. You're gonna enjoy them, I guarantee. And comment a Fall Out Boy song that I should explain next time. Thanks for watching, talk to you later.